Uncertainty is one of the most uncomfortable places for the human mind to rest. The mind is built to search, to explain, to predict. It wants clarity, direction, and control. So when answers do not come, something inside tightens. We feel uneasy, restless, exposed. The mind begins to ask questions that circle endlessly. What should I do? What if this goes wrong? What does this mean about me? But uncertainty does not respond to questions. It does not offer reassurance. It does not hurry to resolve itself. And this is precisely why it feels so threatening. From an early age, we learn to associate safety with knowing who we are, knowing where we are going, knowing how things will turn out. Uncertainty disrupts this sense of psychological ground. It removes the map, and without a map, the mind feels lost. But notice something subtle. The discomfort of uncertainty is not actually caused by not knowing. It is caused by the mind's resistance to not knowing. Uncertainty itself is neutral. It is simply the absence of a fixed answer. The tension arises when the mind insists that there must be one. When the mind has no answer, it often turns against the present moment. It treats now as something unfinished, incomplete, or wrong, as if this moment should already contain clarity. But life does not unfold according to the mind's demand for certainty. Life unfolds moment by moment without explanation. Think about how often the mind postpones peace. Once I understand this, I'll relax. Once I make the right decision, I'll feel safe. Once I know what's coming, then I'll be okay. But the moment of certainty rarely arrives in the way the mind expects. And even when it does not last. Because certainty is fragile, it depends on conditions staying the same, and conditions are always changing. Uncertainty, on the other hand, is not a mistake in the system. It is the natural state of reality. The future has never been known. It has only been imagined. Even what you call certainty is often just familiarity. A pattern you have seen before, a story that feels convincing. But when life moves beyond familiar patterns, the mind panics. Not because something is wrong, but because control has slipped out of reach. And here is a crucial insight. Control has always been an illusion. The heart beats without permission. The breath moves on its own. Thoughts arise without being summoned. Even now, you cannot predict your next thought. Yet awareness is here, steady and open. When the mind has no answer, something else becomes available. A different way of relating to experience. Instead of searching for certainty, you can notice what is actually present. Notice the sensations in the body, the feeling of sitting, the sound of the room, the simple fact of being aware. Uncertainty lives in thought, but presence lives in direct experience. When attention returns to the body, to sensation, to perception, the future loosens its grip. This does not mean uncertainty disappears. It means it no longer dominates. There is a common misunderstanding that peace requires answers, that calm comes from solving life. But peace does not come from knowing what will happen. It comes from not resisting what is happening. Right now, uncertainty may be here, but so is awareness, and awareness is not uncertain. Awareness does not need the future to make sense. It does not need guarantees. It simply knows what is, and what is, in this moment, is already enough to be here with. The mind often treats uncertainty as a personal failure. Why can't I figure this out? Why don't I know what to do? But not knowing is not a flaw. It is a doorway into humility, into presence, into a deeper intelligence than thought. When the mind admits I don't know, something relaxes. The constant effort to control dissolves, even slightly, and in that space, clarity may arise, not as an answer, but as a quiet sense of direction. Sometimes clarity does not come as information. It comes as alignment, as a feeling of what is true in this moment. Uncertainty asks for honesty, not certainty, not confidence, but honesty. Can you admit that you don't know, without rushing to fix it, without turning it into a problem? Most suffering around uncertainty comes from the belief that you must decide everything now. That delay is dangerous. That stillness is weakness. But life is not always asking for action. Sometimes it is asking for listening. Listening to the body, listening to the present moment, listening beneath the noise of thought. When you stop fighting uncertainty, you may notice that it has a quiet intelligence of its own. It slows you down. It removes false certainty. It reveals what actually matters. Uncertainty strips away imagined futures and brings attention back to what is real. This breath, this sensation, this moment, the mind wants resolution, but life wants presence. And presence is available even when answers are not. You do not need to know where your life is going to be here. You do not need a plan to feel alive. You do not need certainty to be whole. You are allowed to be unfinished. You are allowed to be confused. You are allowed to be uncertain. These are not obstacles to life. They are expressions of it. When the mind has no answer, it stands at the edge of its own limitation. And beyond that edge is something quieter, something deeper, something more trustworthy than thought. Awareness remains. It remains through doubt, through fear, through not knowing. Nothing is wrong with this moment because it does not come with instructions. Life is not a puzzle to solve. It is an experience to meet. And perhaps the greatest freedom is discovering that you do not have to resolve uncertainty in order to live fully. You only have to stop turning away from it. Rest here, not knowing, breathing, present. The mind may still search for answers. Let it, but you do not have to follow it. You can stay here where life is already happening.